Okay, so we'll start now, and we'll start with some more features that we can find in the edit menu, because some of them I left them for the later classes, and today we will cover those. So here, if you'll see, we have here uh, like the content aware fill, okay, and content aware scale. Now, there are two differences between these two, so we will see both of them like today and see what they are, and also some of the uh, tools options we will go through in the image option. Now, in the image option, you will see we have here image size and we have here canvas size. Now, image size hold all the information that is related to the size of the image itself. If I will go to image size, you will see the size of the image is 1200 by 675. If I will reduce the size, for example, 1000, the width, and you will notice that the height will change as well because both are interconnected. There is an interlink option here. And with the help of this interlink option, they are constrained to each other. If I will reduce it, if I will reduce the width, the height will also reduce. Same thing happens with the height. If I will change the height back to something else, like maybe 720, so you can see that the width also changes. So if I will make it 1200, you can see back it goes. But if I don't want this, I want them to uniform or non-uniformly change, which is not ideal because what happens, your image will become stretched. So for example, if I will uncheck this, you can unclick and you will see there is no interlink button, no constraint arrow over here. So now if I will change the height, for example, 800, and you will see that it will it will not change the width. So now if I will press OK, you will see the image has only changed the height, and you can see it looks stretchy. Okay, it looks like it is stretched like vertically. So I will undo this because this is not the ideal way to do this. If you go in the image size, always make sure that you interlink in them, and then you can change the size. So at this stage, I don't want to change the size. If I will reduce it, so the quality, if I will reduce the size, the quality will not change because I'm reducing it. The quality of the pixels will not change. However, if I will increase the size, the quality of the picture will change. The reason is that because I'm going off the limit of the pixels density. Because if I'm increasing the size, so pixel will not have enough room to settle, and what will happen, the pixels will blow up and the image will look blurry. So for example, if I will you 1700, okay, so you will see that it is becoming a little bit blurry. Even more 500, and if I will go here, so you can see more blurry and some artifacts you will notice over here. So it's not ideal to change to resize anything much higher. So anytime you will change the size of an image, it will always blow up the pixels because you're going off the limit. So I will cancel over here. I don't want to change the size. I'm satisfied with the current size. Also, you can change the resolution. This is for printing purposes. For example, if I want to print something, I can make it 300. But if I will change the resolution to 300, the size will also change accordingly. And you can see if I'm changing it a lot, you will see the image is becoming pixelated. So always keep your magnification ratio to 100% so that you know how exactly it will look like. So it will look like quite blurry. That means I have blown up my pixels of the image. So this is not an ideal situation. So let's cancel this. I don't want to change the size. I will keep it as. The next here I have is canvas size. Canvas size is this frame is the size of the frame itself. not the size of the image. Now there are a couple of different ways I can change the size of the frame, the canvas. It is from here. I have to give the size. Okay. So maybe if I will change it to 500 or 1500, and maybe this one to 1000. So it will change accordingly. Image size will not change, only the frame pixel size will change. And from where? From here, from the middle. So it will keep the image in the center, and then it will add some here, like a size here, 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 and here. And all calculate, and with the calculation, it will total will be 1500 into 1000. What if I want to add my own value so I can make it relative? So I can make it relative and I can choose the size here. So that means 1500 is how much? 1200, which is the actual size, plus 300 makes 1500. So either you can keep it relative, okay, when you can remove all the values and put your own value, okay, or without any relative. So I will just put without any relative option here. And simply what I will do, I will press OK. As soon as I will press OK, you can see that it has changed the size all over here. Now, what if I don't want the change? I don't want. I like the size, but I don't want the size to change in this format. So what I can do, I can go back to image, canvas size again. Now, I want the image at the bottom here, and the size should change on the sideways and on the top, not anything on the bottom. If I will keep it this way, and this time let's choose relative. Now you can see both are 0 0. The 0 0 reason is that so that we know how we now know how much we do have to add. Like suppose 500 pixels I will add to the height, okay, and then 500 to the width. So that means 250 will be here, 250 will be here. Now if I will press OK, you can see the image. Let me zoom out. Image is on the bottom, and here is the size changed. Okay. Now what if I don't want the size to be changed? So what I can do here is that I can undo this, go back to image, canvas size. This time I will just select the bottom one here, and I will not give any sort of width. I will only give a 500 height. So it will not change anything on the width, just the height. And I will press. And you can see that I have it. So this is how you can change the canvas size. So this is the canvas. Basically, canvas is what? Canvas is basically like a frame of your image. Now, one thing here I can do is that what if I want to fill this area with this image? Now, I can do one thing. I can select this image. And I can go to image and edit and cut. So this image is now gone, and edit and paste. The reason I did that was because the previous image was on the background. Also, the background was locked, and this white area was the part of the image too. So that's why if I would like to change the size, it would change that white area too. But what I did, I just selected only the image and paste it on a new layer. Now on the new layer, let me hide the background for a while. Now on the new layer, you can see that this area of the image is transparent. So if I will change the size, this area will be not affected because there is nothing in this area. It's all empty. So I can go transform, scale, or free transform. Now, if I will change the size, you can see overall it is changing, but I only want to change the height. Now, if I want to change the height, I have to press Shift key. Now, keep in mind, the version I'm using is Adobe Photoshop 2021. In the newer version, when you change the size, it changes uniformly, means the height and the width changes altogether. But if you're using older version, you have to press Shift key in order to change the image uniformly. And same thing, if I want to just change the height, so in the newer version, which is 2021 version, you have to press Shift and change the size, so it will only change the height. Whereas in the older version, you don't have to press Shift key in order to change either a height or a width separately. Okay. So I want to change only the height because width, I think it's I like the way it is there, like sitting on the canvas. So I press Shift key on my keyboard and change the size. And as soon I will do that, you will notice that the image looks kind of stretchy. And this is what we should avoid in any kind of resizing. This is not we should be doing here. Otherwise, image will not look good. It will look stretched out, which is really bad. So I will undo this. And instead of using a pre-transform tool or Control T, I will use a different sort of scaling, which is content aware scale. So what I do is that if I will choose the content aware scale, it will only scale the area that is in high ratio. For example, the sky in this area. Now, if I will press Shift key on my keyboard and try to scale it up, you will notice that it will try as much it can to avoid any kind of stretch. If I will press Shift and try to increase the height, you can see the building is not changing. It changes after a certain period of after a certain change. Now you can see that only this building size is like this building's sizes is changing. The other buildings, they are their height are as it is. They are it's the heights are not changing for the other buildings. Only this building is changing. And when I will reach to certain height, then you will see the other building will start affecting. So now if I will go here and press check mark, so you can see that only this building is stretched a little bit this, but others are as it is. So this can work in some ways. In some ways, it won't give you a good result. So in this case, what we can do here is that instead of using a content aware scale, we'll use another tool which is known as content aware fill. Now, this is grayed out right now. The reason is that we have to select an area that we want to fill, and that area is this. So I can take my marquee tool, select this area, okay, and then I can go to edit, and you will see that content aware fill is activated. So if I will click on content aware fill, it will take me to a new window, and it will ask me, is this okay? And what are the parts that you want to fill with? Now, the green area is the area that you want this whole place to be filled with. So what I can do is that if I will zoom in, you can see that some parts are good, but some part aren't covered, and some part shouldn't be there. Like this part of the building shouldn't be green. This part shouldn't be green. So what I can do, I can reduce the size with the left square bracket of the brush and choose minus, which will remove my selection like this. And as I'm removing the selection, you will also notice that accordingly it updates. Here you can see it is updating and it updates the result as well. Like I don't want this part to be there as well. Some of these parts I don't want. And let me reduce this. Let's see some more part. Now I can add some more. Like I can go to add button instead of minus and add what I think is can be the part of sky. Maybe this this area. And as I'm adding changes, my sky here will be changing as well. Because what it's doing is that it's taking the values from the green area, and from those values, it is filling up like the area that we want it to be filled, the white area on the top. Now you can see that I have chosen, and there are some changes here. Now what else I can do here is that there are some color adoption here. And if I will choose the color adoption here, I can have a very high color adoption. It will take the color from my background. You can see it is processing. And it will make it just like this, which I don't think is right, because what it do is that in the color adoption, it takes the existing color that you have selected here and try to make its own color where it think it should be applied. Like what Photoshop thinks is that on the top of the sky, this should be a little darker. So that's how it calculated and made them little darker in this like selection area. So I don't actually want this to be very high. I want it to be just default. And if I will choose none, you can see that there are a lot of different changes here. No color variation. That's why I'll keep it default. Now, I can use an option here, rotation adoption. What it is doing is that it's taking all these colors and applying in this white area by rotating it and moving it around. So if I will choose the rotation action right now, like there is no rotation adoption here. It's just using the actual rotation of the image itself. If I will use it full, so it says you will get unexpected results. You will get the warning. And you can get something this kind of a result, which is not too realistic. So let me make it done. I can use scale option here. If you will go back on this, so you can see that scale option will scale it up and it will fix the areas. Okay, like suppose if I will press this scale. So with the help of the size, you can see it is processing. It will fix. Now, without scale and with scale. So I think with scale looks quite good. I can choose mirror option here. What it do is that it takes the area, just you can see that here in the example, and mirrors it to the other side. Okay. If I will choose mirror here, it will take the best side and try to mirror it as much it can. So mirror looks also like better. So I can press OK here. And you can see that, let me do everything. I have the sky, the help of the whole like filling option here. Now what I can go to layer, merge down. So otherwise the shortcut is Control E. So what it will do is will take that sky that we created and merge it with this sky. Now there is one more option in the edit here, which is known as sky replacement. So if I will go to the sky replacement, I can replace this with a sky of our choice. So here is the sky of our choice, which matches with our uh, image, or there are a couple of more. You can choose as many you like. The one that suits you, you can keep that. So there are a lot of choices. Whatever you think suits, you can choose that, and then you're good to go. I may choose this one. Now there is a temperature here. If you think it is too cold, so you can make it warmer by moving it to warmer side. And if you think it is too bright, you can darken it. Or if you think it is too dark, you can brighten it up. You can use edge shift to move the horizon. Now see, you can see you have moved it from here or from the top area. So I don't want that. I will keep. And when I'm done, I can press OK, or I can flip it just to see it if it looks good as like this, or like I think it looks good as this because more weight is here and lightweight is here. So here is more weight and lightweight, so it will balance or according. And you can see that automatically it will create the sky here. So this is we have gone through in the last part also the sky replacement, but this is more ideal situation where you can use. So easily we got a more, we added a sky here more clearly. Now let's do one thing. Let's convert this image to a flat image, or let's go to the family picture here. So basically we have covered in the edit, we have covered most of these parts that we need to know for this introductory course. Now only thing we are left with is the puppet warp right now. There are more, but for the beginning level, you might not have to use it because those are little advanced. But for like basic level for doing major like majority of the projects, you might only need to know all the one that we have covered so far. So the one that I'm going to tell you, that is also one of that's also the part of it, which is known as the puppet warp. Now, Puppet Warp 2, how it works is that you make a selection or or you draw something or you like cut or paste something. You can convert that thing into a puppet, and accordingly you can change it. For example, I don't like the baby's hand here. I want his hand to be a little bit like positioning up. So what I can do, I can remove his hand from this image, from this layer and add it to another layer. So first of all, let me select and remove and copy it and paste it on a different layer. I will take a magnetic lasso tool and I will start drawing like here outline, and wherever I see sharp corners, I will just click there so that there is no issue in selecting them. Okay. Now it's selected. I will go to edit, copy, edit, paste, and you can see that it's there in the new layer. But in the old layer, I want to remove it. Let me rename this one new baby hand. And for this time, I will hide this one and go to the background. I want to remove the hand from here now. So what I can do is that I can take polygonal lasso tool and move this part of the hand. Okay. and delete and choose content aware. Delete this one. And what else I can do here is that if it's not removing correctly, I can go to edit, content aware fill. And then I can choose one. I can clear this whole thing and I can make my own selection because I don't want any one of these. And I want my own this here. You can see this. And once I'm done, I okay, and it fill it. You'll see some sharp edges. So the best thing that to do is take the blur tool and blur out the edges on here. Well, and I can go back. I can merge this to the bottom layer and I can go back and hide the baby layer. This and here. Now in this layer, the only hand. Okay. So what now I can do is that I can reposition this hand to any place I want. So I can go to edit now and I can turn on the puppet warp tool. As soon I will turn on the puppet warp tool, it will give me a warp over here. Now this is the quality of it. Higher it will be, so more nice quality I will have it. So here I have density. Now the density is normal. So if I will reduce it, maybe I will get a little bit artifacts. But if you don't want any sort of artifact, you can go to density and more points. It will get more denser. If you think this is too much and you want very simple movement, you can do fewer points. But I will keep it normal because my movement over here is basically uh not advanced. Once I'm done, I want to move the hand. So here on the hand, I will click one time. As soon as I will click it, you will see that I will get 1 point. Now this point, I can click back and move. But if I will move, it will move like that, which I don't actually want. I want only the hand to move and this point I want to pin. So here what I will do, I will pin it. Now pin actually perform two duties. The first thing what it do is that it pins down a certain part. Like this part is pinned down now. This part is pinned down now. Means like it will not move. Also, it acts like a dragger or a handler. So I can click on any of these pinned points and I can move it. But here, if I will move this one, so which one is pinned? This is pinned. So this will not move, only this will move. So if I will move it, you can see that other part is not moving, only this part is. So let me undo it because I want to add one more pin over here. So it will act like an elbow, this area. If I will move it, it will move like this. Okay. Also, to make it more realistic, I can pin this part also. I can pin this part also. And then I can, so it will look like this. Maybe I can move this area too, a little bit here or up or down. The existing areas, you can also move it around. Like this pin, I can move it. This pin, I can move it also. Maybe this pin. But I like the way it is now, so I will press check mark. Now his hand, you can see that I have moved it just like I want it here. So if I will go to the original image here, so the hand, look at the hand of the baby. was down here and I moved it up. So this is how you can actually reposition the hand or any part of any sort of things that you want. So this is how things will work inside your uh, the Puppet Warp tool. Now what I can do here is that I can go to layer, merge down, or Control E, so they all so it will the whole thing will become one image. Now once we are done, we can go to edit now and do some modifications here. In the mode, you don't have to worry about these things. These are some advanced levels, but a few things you need to know is that if you're working on completely black and white, like your end result, your end printing will be on a black and white printer, then you can choose grace. But if you're working for computers, for mobile phone, and you don't want to print it, so keep it RGB. But if you want to print it in future, so choose CMYK. If you are using a home printer, so RGB CMYK doesn't matter. But if you're going for a printing press, then definitely CMYK, because printing press uses 4 color printers. That's why it requires CMYK. Otherwise, it will not print. So, but in this case, we'll keep it as it is. Now we'll go to adjustments. Now we have different sort of adjustments here. First, it's the brightness and contrast. If I will choose the brightness and contrast, I will get this option. And in order to see the result, I have to keep my preview on, the check mark. Now, if I will increase the brightness, you can see the image is becoming brighter or darker. Contrast is what? The amount of the dark areas, the black areas, and the white. As much I will reduce it, so the dark area will become flatter. So image will look more flat. But if I will instead of decreasing, if I will increase it, so you can see the black area, white area will become more sharper, and the image will look more contrasted. Black and white is more popping out. So, but I will be losing some details. That's a drawback of it. So you have to make sure how much you can achieve and how much you can keep it or how much you can remove. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind when you're doing brightness. Next, we have here levels. Now, what are the levels? Levels are basically the amount of whites, the amount of black. Now, if I will go to adjustments and go to levels, I will see here this sort of a graph. Now, this is basically a histogram. Now, this extreme area is black, this extreme area is white, and this is the midtone value. If I will take the black and try to push in, so you can see image is becoming more darker. If I will take the white and start to push in, you can see image is becoming more brighter. So I can mix and match too. I can make it a little bit darker and a little bit brighter. And the middle value, I can also move around. For example, if it is somewhere here, I cannot see the details of the cloth wrinkle. But if I will move it left side, you can see the gray value is becoming stronger, and it is showing me the some other details like the cloth wrinkle and all those things. So this is how you can change the levels, and each color level can be changed. Like suppose I want to only change for the blue color. I can go to blue and I can play with the blue color, and then you can see a different sort of a result here. And after the levels, I have curves. So what the curves do is that it's the same thing as levels, but here it works with a curve. This is the area that is the dark part, and this is the area which is the bright part. If I will click on the graph of the dark part and try to move it,